The European Union Act 2011 is an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom, requiring that a referendum be held on amendments of the Treaty on European Union of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, introduced in the House of Commons by Her Majesty's Principal Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs, William Hague, on the 11th of November 2010. The bill received its second reading by 330 to 195 on the 7th of December, and was passed by the Commons on the 8th of March 2011. The bill was read a second time in the Lords on the 22nd of March, after a hostile reception by peers. The Act received Royal Assent on the 19th of July 2011. Background: the bill was introduced before Parliament as a reaction to the European Union Act 2008, which had in the UK instituted the Treaty of Lisbon with no participation by the Labour Prime Minister of the day, Gordon Brown, and with no referendum, although one had been promised in 2005 in the Labour manifesto. The Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition agreement pledged in 2010 to ensure that there is no further transfer of sovereignty or powers over the course of the next Parliament, to amend the 1972 European Communities Act so that any proposed future treaty that transferred areas of power or competences would be subject to a referendum on the treaty, and to examine the case for a United Kingdom sovereignty bill to make it clear that ultimate authority remains with Parliament. The Queen's speech reaffirmed that legislation would be introduced to ensure that in future this Parliament and the British people have the say on any proposed transfer of powers to the European Union. Provisions: the Act requires that any amendment of the Treaty on European Union of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union made by treaty, and any use of a passerelle provision, must be approved by an Act of Parliament at least, and that a referendum must be held in any of various cases where this would enlarge EU powers, or reduce safeguards such as unanimous voting. The Act also enables ratification of a transitional protocol relating to the number of members of the European Parliament. Section 18, the Sovereignty Clause. On the 6th of October 2010, the government announced that the Act would include a provision to underline that what a sovereign parliament can do, a sovereign parliament can always undo. The clause, eventually enacted as Section 18 of the Act, provides that status of EU law dependent on continuing statutory basis, directly applicable or directly effective EU law of the European Communities Act 1972 falls to be recognised and available in law in the United Kingdom only by virtue of that Act, or where it is required to be recognised and available in law by virtue of any other Act.